Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone.
Guys, we are doing a first trimester recap, and it is so surreal that we're sitting here doing this video because I've personally watched like 100 of these videos, and
I have not watched one.
and I've like dreamed about doing this video. And so it's wild that we are through the first trimester and we get to be like sharing all of this with y'all.
And I'm here for the boys because I'm sure people are gonna want to know what the guy reaction was to everything that she's experiencing, like as a husband. And I'm like,
yeah, because his life changed a lot too in the first trimester.
Yes, it did.
He had his own symptoms to deal.
You know how like someone just has one dog?
Yeah.
And the dog is just an only child and it just lives its life, and then they add another dog and it disrupts that dog's peace. I got disrupted a little bit in the best way, but it was like real.
Okay, so I want to start by sharing all the things that happened like leading up to actually taking the test, because I had a ton of like pre-test symptoms. Like my body was so out of whack. If y'all watched our finding out we're pregnant video, you might have heard Chad say that like I was on the struggle bus, like to the point where we were like, okay, if you're not pregnant, we're like concerned about your health and we need to go to the doctor. The only reason I didn't go to the doctor is because I knew they'd make me take a pregnancy test and I didn't want to find out at the doctor. So we like waited until a couple days after I missed my period to take the test, when I actually felt somewhat decent.
But it was only like one day after, and your cycle was so jacked up at that time?
January and February, I had started spotting like 5 days before my period, where I would just spot for like a day or two and then nothing for 4 or 5 days. And when you Google that, everything is like, that's implantation bleeding. And so there were so many like emotions that kind of went along with that.
Yeah.
And we'll share the whole God story behind getting pregnant, because there really is a God story to it, but I feel like it's so long that that's like a whole nother video.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't know exactly when I was gonna start my period, because we were like, okay, am I gonna spot this month like I have the last two, or am I not? So when is my actual period gonna start?
And let me just say for the boys, a woman's body is like, I just got transported.
Okay.
A woman's body is so miraculous in the stuff that it does. Like our body is very different.
We have like one mode. We have like 4 different modes a month.
Like speed. And I was in for not necessarily a rude awakening, but like a rough learning lesson, because it's like, as guys, we think everything is just physical. Like, okay, you scrape your elbow, there's like a mark and maybe you're bleeding or something, and like that's it, it's just physical. But with the stuff that she was experiencing, the physical part was just like the least of it. There's there's chemical things happening, there's emotions attached to it, there's so many more things happening, and I had to really like learn about a woman, and it was hard for me to understand because I only know like one thing. And that was like a lot for me to handle. I don't mean that in a complaining sense, but it was like, oh wow, there's a lot happening here.
And so this was probably a week before I was supposed to start my period. I actually was out of town at my friend's bachelorette party, and I woke up the morning we were leaving and I was so sick. It didn't make any sense. It felt like food poisoning, but I had the same exact food as everybody else, and we were 6 hours away from home, and I was throwing up the entire way home. Like something just did not settle in my stomach. It was the actual worst. I was in the car with my friends, Jade and Kalia, and I will just say they are champs. Kalia saw me in some things I hope Chad never sees me in, and it was just really, really, really brutal. I remember at one point on the drive, I was like, if I'm pregnant, this is all worth it. But if I'm not, this is the worst day of my life.
I'm a little concerned.
I'm concerned. And so they drove me back to Lakeland, even though my car was not in Lakeland. And that night, it was so funny. I was in the bed, because Chad like set me up in the bed. He's like, I had only had like 2 crackers and some Gatorade that day. It was all I could keep down. And I was watching Friday Night Lights or something, and they were eating.
So just before that, just real quick, I had like quarantined her into the bedroom. Because like, I want to support her and take care of her when she's sick, but if I get sick, then who's gonna take care of me? And I was like, I don't know what to do here because I want to like love on her and make her feel better, but I didn't really know what to do. So I got her set up and I was just in the living room, just chilling, minding my own business. And then I got a text.
Yeah, and so I'm watching them eat the diner food. And all of a sudden, y'all, I hate McDonald's. I'm so sorry if you love McDonald's. I'm not a fan of McDonald's.
She's not loving it.
Chad loves McDonald's. I text him and I am like, I need a double cheeseburger and a large fry and a Coca-Cola 5 minutes ago. Like, I need it right now.
Yeah, and at the time, I didn't know I was conditionally trained to enjoy that message. Because growing up for me in North Lakeland, if you score a touchdown, Happy Meal. You know, if you get good grades, go to the play zone at McDonald's and chicken nuggets. Like, it was a reward system for me. Whenever she told me she was filling McDonald's, I like had that, like, you know, The Office, Dwight Schrute moment whenever Jim is giving him the Altoids and he was conditionally trained to have a positive response to it. That's how I felt. I was like, you want McDonald's?
Yeah.
Like, this is so nice.
It was like I was eating a filet mignon. Like, it was so good in the moment that I was like, this is so strange. And for my guys out there, sorry, I know mostly girls are going to be watching this video, but a very like interesting symptom that was like a go-to, like, okay, I might be pregnant, was my
I think that's okay to share.
My nipples were so sore, like they hurt really bad.
So interesting.
And I kept like noticing myself like, oh my gosh, like why are they hurting so bad? And like my boobs were sore, and that does not happen to me before a period. Like, I had never experienced it before.
Chest day.
But because we had been trying for over a year and there had been multiple times that we thought we were pregnant and we weren't, I was trying not to let my brain go there.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy for your brain just to run wild, especially when you want something so deeply.
Yeah.
You'll read into anything and everything that you can.
Yeah, so I was trying to like push everything aside and be like, no, like, this is just kind of weird. So then the next day, I have like 101-degree fever. Like, I'm actually legitimately sick. And so that really threw me off because that's not like a pre-pregnancy thing. But something that I learned is when you're first pregnant, your immune system shuts down to not ward off the baby. And so flu-like symptoms can actually be a sign that you're pregnant because your immune system is shot. And I had just been traveling so much and everything else that my immune system was down and I kept getting sick.
Boys, this is what I meant. Her body knew to shut down her immune system so it didn't reject the baby because it noticed something was different. I'm like, my body has like 2 speeds, you know, stop and go. Her body has like a knob for like, where do I want to be right now? And this is just crazy. I cannot believe that your body just like knows these things.
Yeah, it's so wild. And so next was I had night sweats really bad. I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I'd have dry mouth. I'd be chugging water, which is not normal for me at all. I felt like the SpongeBob episode for real. I had headaches. Then for 2 days, this was right before we took the test, so 2 days before I took the test, my hips and my pelvic, like,
they don't lie.
They were hurting so bad. It was making the insomnia worse because I just couldn't get comfortable. I remember even like in our group chat with our Patreon, like messaging them at 4 a.m. because I knew someone would be up because they're from all over the world. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like trying to like, they're like keeping me company as I'm like awake in the middle of the night and just encouraging me, which is really sweet. But so those were all things that I experienced before taking the test.
That's a lot to handle.
Which was a lot. And then we took the test. Obviously, if you saw that video, it was like the sweetest moment of just God's faithfulness, and there was so much joy.
I rewatched it again last night.
You did?
Yeah, I watched it at like midnight, and I was watching it. And then if you specifically go back and watch Tori, whenever she sees the positive result, when you see it said we were pregnant, and I just saw probably 5, 10, 15 years of worry fall off of you, of wondering, you know, will this happen for me? Because what a girl feels, and we can share this in another video, but it's so different than what a guy feels in desiring a family. And I do desire it, absolutely. Yeah. But I just saw like all the fear fall off of it, and that was crazy to watch. Sorry, I got real deep right there.
So then after we found out something, like one of the first changes I made was my skincare, because I just knew that a lot of the things that I was using was way too harsh, like especially the anti-aging stuff and all the retin-A and exfoliators. Like I was just like, I don't necessarily trust all the ingredients that I'm using now that I am pregnant. And so the first switch that I made was using the Dime Beauty products, which I've told you guys about on this channel, and I absolutely love and adore because they're all clean. Then like a couple days after finding out that we were pregnant, Haldy actually reached out, and I was like, wow, what perfect timing, because what is amazing about Haldy is they're not trying to like change your entire skincare routine. They're just trying to build out the perfect routine for you. And so you actually go onto their website and you can take this whole quiz. And if you're pregnant, you can literally put, I am pregnant and I don't want any fragrances. I want everything to be like super safe for me, for the baby. Like they have an entire list of different like chemicals and stuff that are on their like no list. And so they won't even like suggest any products that have any of those things. And for me, especially being pregnant, like the dry mouth, my skin is like dry. Like I need all the moisture, all the oils, like my skin just soaks it up. They literally sent me like my morning routine, my nightly routine. And like I said, it has all the products that I already really love and enjoy. And then they just added in products that they think would really benefit me. And so what they added in was this super nice cleanser from Indie Lee. I love this stuff. I wasn't using a cleanser before. I was just using like my micellar water that I take my mascara off with, and then I'd like rub it all over my face, but that's not actually like cleaning my skin. So they're like, you need to clean your skin, girl. They're like those friends that just know too much about skincare. Like that's what they say, and I think that's adorable because it's so true. They like weed through all of these different brands and they're like, no, this is the clean for you. And then I think this is probably my favorite thing that they sent me. It's the Mara Universal Face Oil, and like I said, I just love oils. My skin soaks it up. The next thing is sunscreen, because the only sunscreen I put on my face is what's in my makeup, and so I'm excited to like be using this now because gotta get that sunscreen, especially here in Florida with the crazy UV lights. So
your skin is your largest organ. And so whenever you put like a face cleanser, a wash, a moisturizer, an oil on your skin, it's getting into your system and it's getting into your bloodstream, which then goes everywhere else. And when you think about like the bloodstream and the baby, and you think like harsh chemicals and stuff, like I was like, no, we ain't doing that. And the older I get, the more I'm like, why did I not know about all this stuff that people are putting inside of products? And so having honest ingredients is so important. That way you at least make an educated decision. That's what it's all about. It's just knowing, okay, this has that, this has that, and this is what I'll put into my body.
Agreed. Okay, so I'm gonna link that quiz below. As you're filling it out, make sure to say that I referred you, that you saw this video. Number one, because I just want to know if y'all love it as much as I do. And next, I'm gonna get Chad on this. We gotta get Chad to take the test and see.
Take the test?
Yeah, take the quiz.
I'm a good test taker.
He has to take the quiz next and see what his skincare routine is. And when he does, we'll update you guys. But anyways, okay, back to, we found out around, I think like 5 weeks. Because the first appointment I was 6 weeks, which was really soon after. And so at 6 weeks, I wrote down, I wanted to eat everything all the time. I was not having any aversions yet. I was still able to drink coffee. Like pretty much everything tasted good, and I wanted like pasta and pizza and like
everything that's from God.
Yeah, like I wanted carbs, I wanted all the things. And then later into 6 weeks, my nausea really started kind of kicking in. And I have products that I'm gonna show you guys that really help me with the nausea, because even to this day, I'm still struggling with nausea, but I'm learning how to manage it, and it's getting better. I'm feeling better, my energy's coming back. But the first trimester was a doozy.
It was pretty brutal, I'm not gonna lie, but not in a bad way.
And we were traveling.
It was like a worthy
Yeah.
hardship.
Yeah, like every time I was nauseous, I was like, okay, this nausea is reminding me that the precious little promise is here, that the hormones are working. But in the moment, it's so hard because I actually wasn't throwing up a ton. I was just nauseous like all day long. And it was
miserable.
Almost like I would have rather just thrown up and gotten like some kind of relief because that happened last week. And I was like, wow, I actually feel better after throwing up. But I got these, I'm gonna link everything below for you guys. A lot of it is on Amazon, which is really nice. But I got these little Preggy Pops. So I got these Preggy Pops. You can actually get like the assorted flavors, or you can get a specific flavor that you like. My favorite was the sour raspberry and the tangerine. But these actually really did help. I couldn't eat like more than 3 of them at a time because my mouth would get kind of raw because they're like a sour candy. But those worked really well. And also Jolly Ranchers. I don't know what it is, but there's something about like having a hard candy that just, it's like something constantly going into your stomach. Because I realized that when my stomach was empty was when I was getting the most nauseous. And then at 6 weeks was our very first ultrasound. And that was just the craziest experience. We got to go on my birthday, and it was the only thing we did for my birthday because I was so sick. And it was the only thing on the way back I was sick. Like we couldn't do dinner, we couldn't make plans. Like poor Chad, he normally like goes all out for my birthday.
I didn't know what to do. We had gotten you a bike for your birthday, and now you can't ride it. And I'm just like, I'm very confused. I'm very conflicted.
But it's okay. And so that was crazy. The heartbeat, like as soon as they put the little ultrasound thing on, she's like, you're definitely pregnant. And there's just something about going in and hearing the heartbeat that is such a relief. I actually struggled with a lot of first trimester anxiety. Last year, I'd walked through, I think 7 or 8 miscarriages with friends pretty early on in their pregnancies. And so I feel like every week, just getting through that week was like a win because I really was so anxious about losing the baby or something going wrong. And the anxiety really didn't go away until recently, until after like our 12-week appointment. And that was something that I wasn't expecting to struggle with because I'm not really an overly anxious person. Anxiety is not something that I struggle with often. I've struggled with it in seasons, but not often. And so that was really tough. Okay, 7 weeks. Crazy nauseous, not actually throwing up. Started out in the morning and now it's all day long. I definitely still had an appetite. I was really thirsty all the time. I need to drink water and pee in the middle of the night multiple times. So I'd like wake up so thirsty and I'd have like a massive water bottle by the bed and I would just be slurping it down and I'd wake Chad up because he can like hear me.
I don't like that word.
Drinking the water.
I don't like that word.
I was so thirsty.
It's like the word moist. It's not a good word.
I literally have water by me all the time. And I can tell if I'm dehydrated, especially recently. If I'm dehydrated, I will get a headache very quickly. Oh, so this happened at 7 weeks. The smell of coffee made me so nauseous, which was so weird for me because I love coffee, love caffeine. I was an avid Celsius drinker, which had 200 milligrams of caffeine in it. And that's like max you can have when you're pregnant. And so just getting rid of that alone was wild. And the fact that I like didn't even want coffee, I'm like, whoa, I'm going from like one extreme to the other. Like I drink so much caffeine. I think I was on the brink of like adrenal fatigue because of the amount of caffeine I was drinking and not even like feeling a boost from it. Which is not good, friends. So I'm counting this, if you're watching my Instagram stories last week, I'm counting this as a huge blessing because I no longer feel like I need caffeine to function as a human.
This was like the greatest rude awakening to like, you know, because I feel like when you're young, you think you can just like take over the world and you're invincible. But whenever you're met with the reality of life and you have to make decisions, you're like, oh wow, like I did not know that, or my body is not responding well to this or whatever. It's like, but it's a good thing because then you start to make better decisions. Because again, like whenever I was in high school, I would eat McDonald's like every single day. Because at like 15, 16, 17, you could just do whatever you want.
Your metabolism,
yeah.
you're playing sports.
But it doesn't always stay that way. And it's almost like a lot of people get down about it.
Yeah.
But I like now that I have greater repercussions to my decisions now. Yeah. Because it makes me make better decisions because I can't just be like, oh, my body will deal with it.
Yeah, that's so true. It really is. Like now I'm like, okay, I hope when I get the appetite for coffee back and like I can have these things that I won't, because I would prefer to live a life where I'm not dependent on it. And so I think that's really cool. Oh, I noticed my hair growing a lot faster. Like I got a haircut and I just feel like my hair is like down to my waist now, which is wild. And the thing about that is I love this hair growth, but I also had to shave my legs a lot more often, and that was annoying. Because yeah, like I said, love hair here, not hair on the legs. And so I just noticed that they were growing so much faster, and I was like, this is so weird. And then I wrote down some things that I was craving at 7 weeks. This is actually because I was watching another First Trimester recap, and she said that something that really like she was craving was the little cuties, like the little tangerines. And y'all, as soon as she said that, I was like, I need that right now. And so we ordered like a whole order on Instacart, and we got cuties. And I swear, how many cuties do you think I ate a day?
4, 5.
Yeah, probably 4. And then realized that the folic acid in the tangerines actually helps with nausea. And so I was like, how cool that your body literally knows that. Like I started craving them, and they would help me with the nausea. I'm like, what the heck? That's amazing. And so I started eating a lot of those, a lot of fruit, lime chips I was a fan of at that time, Coca-Cola, which is terrible, but like it was helping ease my stomach. And then the lemon San Pellegrinos. There was something about like the citrus and the carbonation that was just such a winner. I still love to drink those now. Okay, 8 weeks, fam. My hands and my feet were freezing. Like literally when I would go to bed, I am not a like sleep with socks on person, but I like was wanting to sleep with socks on because my feet were so cold. My hands were like ice cubes. I don't know if I was low on iron or what was going on, but it really only lasted for like 2 weeks. And so I wrote it down because it was just like a strange symptom that I was having.
That is interesting. I've heard that whenever you're cold, your body will like rush the blood from like your extremities to your core to protect your organs, and that's why the phalanges get all icicle-y.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, and then I realized at 8 weeks, we started traveling around 8 weeks, so we were gone from 8 weeks to what? 12 weeks?
Yeah.
So a lot of my first trimester, we were traveling like crazy, which to look back on is just like, whoa.
Not a smart move.
This is not the smartest move ever. Like a lot of my friends, I think I have 15 or 17 friends at this point who are pregnant right now. And they were all like, I cannot believe that you're traveling this much in first trimester. Just with like being in the car so much and on airplanes and everything else with dealing with the nausea. But I also realized that I did a lot better when I was busy and when I was active and when I got outside and I was a little distracted. Because when I was laying down, which was like what my body wanted, I started feeling bad. Like it was like I was almost like focused on the fact that I didn't feel good, and it made me feel worse. Versus if I got up and I was like just doing stuff or seeing people, I wasn't as like aware that I didn't feel good. At 9 weeks, I think is when Uncle Bob, who's a chiropractor, sent me the homeopathic nausea medicine. I will link this below too. You can get it on Amazon, but it just comes in these like tiny little packets. So I throw it in my purse. They're like little tiny little beads, and you put them underneath your tongue and let them dissolve, and it really would bring me like temporary relief to the nausea. So I think that really helped me manage it, because there were so many waves of nausea throughout the day, especially like when I was starting to get hungry, I would get really nauseous. So that really helped. 10 weeks, my hormones spiked and the nausea got worse. Like 10 and 11 weeks, were a little bit more brutal. And it was also like the 3rd week into traveling. And so I think my body was just getting weary and tired from travel and not being home. And so I was having mood swings. I was really like irritable. There were like...
I didn't notice.
Chad definitely noticed. I was just like very hormonal. And I did throw up that week a couple times. At Christian and Arden's house and Melanie and Jordan's house, which was very, it's fine, but it's just not fun to not be at your house when you're like feeling that bad. Yeah. And I wasn't waking up to pee as much, which made me think that I was dehydrated, like because we were traveling and everything, which will make you dehydrated. And I was experiencing so much bloating to where like, if you've been pregnant out there, or if you're currently pregnant, at night, I looked like 3 months more pregnant than I am. And then in the morning, I'd wake up and it was so much flatter. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I thought I was getting the bump.
Most of us normal people call that a food baby.
Yeah, so it was baby plus bloat a lot. And I was taking photos. I'm like, look, my bump is coming. But then I was also having a little bit of acid reflux. And this actually freaked me out at first. But I was having this like dull pain in my lower abdomen, and I, of course, like, Google is not my friend, but like, Google, sometimes it's helpful. I had this like dull pain in my lower abdomen, and it like made me worry because I told y'all I was struggling with some anxiety, and I looked it up, and it's called round ligament pain, and it's actually like so common. It's just your belly like stretching, like it's those ligaments stretching to make more room for the baby. So then I was like, every time I felt it, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, it's making room for the baby. Like, how crazy is our bodies that like our organs are literally like shrinking and moving around and doing all this stuff to like make room for the baby. Okay, 11 weeks. We're almost there, fam. Still nauseous. Threw up again. But just like every once in a while. I probably only threw up like 6 days out of the whole first trimester. I had anxiety at 11 weeks, and I had like one day where I got really nervous because there was like a slight change in color of a word that Chad hates. And so I call Melena like crying. I'm like, what is wrong? Like, this is different. Like, is it okay? She's like, stop freaking out. It's fine. I ended up calling a midwife, and she was like, it's totally fine. It's normal. So... But that anxiety was really like stirring and making me anxious.
Google is not your friend in these moments of, of trying to figure out what's going on with your body.
Yeah. 12 weeks. We got to see the baby. And that was
crazy.
The craziest
experience. My word. I had no idea how active the babies are.
At 12 weeks.
I had I'm talking like acrobatics, just like flexing, I was just like, this is incredible. Our child is the best.
Moving a little hand around.
I was like, this is absolutely incredible. You'll see it in a later video where we'll share the whole experience, because we were just dumbfounded. Like, what just happened? It was incredible.
So cool. And it honestly, like that ultrasound in particular was what really calmed my anxiety and brought me a lot of peace, was like getting to that point of that appointment. And I remember we actually like met there. You'll see it in that video. But I just spent the entire drive worshiping and praying and like giving this to Jesus. And it was just such a relief. And I just felt so much better after.
Oh my gosh. And I showed up to the appointment in a funny outfit. You have to see the video later.
Oh my gosh. Goodness.
Yeah. We'll show you later.
Stay tuned for that. And then I started taking... Actually, this was kind of a theme throughout the entire thing. If I say, like, I'm going to take a 20-minute power nap, it so easily turns into 2 or 3 hours, or as long as Chad leaves me asleep, I'll stay asleep.
She goes to sleep hard.
Like pass out. Like, I'm normally not like that when I nap. Did you take a photo?
This was her yesterday. This is her yesterday. I'll have to send it to Zach so he can put it up on the screen.
No!
It's not focusing.
Good.
Okay, I'll have Zach put it up there.
Wow, that's attractive. Besides the naps, which honestly are amazing. Like, I feel like I'm gonna miss taking naps like that when I'm not pregnant, because I don't think I've ever slept like this in my life. Yeah, so the naps are incredible. The weird thing lately is I've been seeing stars. Like you know how you see
Been
stars
looking in
when
the
you're
mirror.
dizzy? I literally can't. I'll see some stars. So I feel like there's a lot of random pregnancy symptoms where I'll like check my app. I gotta share what app with you guys that I've been using. So I use 2 different apps. The one that I use the most is What to Expect, and I'll show you a little screenshot of that. I love it because every single week they have little videos that come out that like say what's happening in your womb, like how the baby's growing and what's developing and all of that. And I feel like every time we hit like a week marker, it's exciting because we'll watch the video together and see what's happening.
It's really adorable.
Yeah.
So,
and then the other app that Milena told me about, and she loves this app. It's a lot more intense. Yeah. But it's called Pregnancy Plus, and you can
poke the baby, right?
Yeah, like you can touch the baby and it kind of moves, and you can turn the sound on, and it's like the womb sound, like you can hear what it sounds like in the womb and everything. But yeah, so those are the 2 apps that I love. And then one more thing before you share. I've been using the Ritual Essential for Women Prenatal. So I think our Ritual code is still active.
I think it's Tori Chad.
Yeah, I think our code is Tori Chad. So if you want to try out the prenatals by Ritual, we have a discount code we'll link below too. Okay, baby, you go for it.
Now let's get to the good stuff of what I've been experiencing after this first trimester, during the first trimester. Okay. I have massive pregnancy brain. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting things. I get out of breath really fast. I'm talking, I get up and walk upstairs to record the podcast. I'm out of breath within 3 steps. That's been brutal. I've been eating more than I've ever been eating, which has been awesome because I love food. Chef Chad coming soon. On a serious note, it has been a harder thing for me because I'm used to like having like my teammate, my coworker, but with her going through a lot, I've had to step up in some areas that I'm not quite used to. I've had to like, I'm still learning how to have better discipline of like where I'm used to having like help. Now I just have to do things. And that's not like a knock on her. Yeah. It's more of like a knock on me. I had gotten used to something. I'm having a harder time like break out of that. And hopefully this encourages you that, you know, if you ever go through a sudden change, Jordan said it best, and it's going to sound inappropriate, but it makes sense, is that he said, if you see a hole, fill a hole. Mm-hmm. And what he means is that with him and Milena, if he sees that the dishes need to be done, just do the dishes, Jordan. If he sees that there's a mess from the kids, pick up the mess from the kids, Jordan. You know, and so I'm trying to adapt to that mindset, and it's definitely a harder one because you have to break out of your norm.
Yeah. And he's genuinely had to like cook me so many meals because like before he's always been more of the cook in the relationship, but I will immediately get hungry. Like it's like I have no warning, but like all of a sudden I'm starving. And
she's nauseous and she's gonna throw up, and then I'm like, now I have to stop from doing all of our work to now cook. Yeah. And then I feel like I've just been falling behind, but this is just a season of life, and I guess that's like a great thing for us to remember. Yeah. Is that like life is not always the same. Mm-hmm. The only constant in life is that it changes. Yeah. And so being flexible during those changes is really important. And I think I'm learning to limber up a bit. Yeah. But yeah, this pregnancy brain is real. I'm forgetting things. Yeah. I'm seeing stars. Am I right, babe? I wish I had that.
The dad jokes are getting more dad-like.
The dad jokes have been on fire. Let me tell you, ladies and gents. We even have a newsletter. I don't know if you guys are subscribed to it, but we put the smallest little baby hint of that we're expecting in the newsletter for the month of May, where if you scroll down to the bottom of the newsletter, it said like, stay tuned for some very exciting content this month. Mm-hmm, and it was very special, yeah. And of course, that's not the biggest hint, but it changed from our normal, like, stay tuned for some content, right? Yeah. And so I've been enjoying stepping into this new role of Chad the Dad, which I think is just gonna become an unstoppable force. So I feel that way. I feel like I'm gonna peak.
I think that's it. I think that's a wrap.
I think that's it, folks.
42 minutes later.
This is a lot.
I know that was a lot. Thanks for sitting through all of it. If y'all have any questions, leave them in the comments below. At some point, I'll definitely do like a pregnancy Q&A, or we will do a pregnancy Q&A.
That would be a fun video. And don't
Yeah.
forget to take the quiz from Haldy. The link is in the description.
Yes.
Helps you just build out this whole routine that like makes things easier on you, whether you're trying to be more budget conscious or clean conscious, whatever it may be.
Yeah, for sure. And make sure to tell them that we referred you and let us know how you like it. But y'all, I think that is it for this video. We have so much more exciting content coming to you guys. We're so pumped. Yeah.
You keep looking at my lips like you want to kiss or something.
Bye.
do 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 do.